Coming up, police released further details concerning the murder-suicide in Alton last week. We'll have the very latest, plus the Kennebunk Police Department releases a new batch of alleged Johns in the Zumba prostitution ring. And opening statements are heard in the trial of a Norridgewock man accused of committing murder back in 2009. Those stories and more as ABC 7 News at 6 starts right now.
Now, live, this is ABC 7 News at 6.
Good evening and welcome to the 6 p.m. news on ABC 7. I'm Jared Pleiter.
And I'm Lindsay Mills. Thanks for joining us tonight. 1 week ago tonight, a woman called 911 after discovering a grisly scene in a home off the Tannery Road in Alton. 3 people dead there, an estranged couple, a man from Bradley, and questions about what exactly happened there. Well, tonight state police say that picture is nearly complete. The case being called the latest domestic violence homicide in Maine. Investigators say 43-year-old Scott Reed stabbed his estranged wife, 39-year-old Danielle Folsom Reed, to death inside the Alton home Monday afternoon. Scott Reed then spent the day with 41-year-old Daniel Young of Bradley before returning to Alton. That's where the chief medical examiner says both men died of close contact gunshot wounds to the head. Detectives say Reed left a suicide note, and both men had talked about taking their lives, but are still trying to figure out whether Daniel Young died by his own hand. And today we headed back to Alton and spoke with neighbors who told us about some events leading up to the homicides. We'll have more on that tonight at 10 on Fox Bangor. Opening arguments were heard today as the trial began of a Norridgewock man accused in the shooting death of a North Anson man in 2009. 41-year-old Robert Nelson is accused of killing Everett Cameron of North Anson on Halloween 3 years ago as Cameron sat in a pickup truck. Cameron's family say they believe the shooting death may have been connected to the sale of a drug that the victim used to treat his lymphoma. The prosecutor expects the trial to last at least a week. The list of the alleged Johns connected to the Kennebunk Zumba prostitution ring continues to grow. Today, the Kennebunk Police Department released four more names to the public, increasing the list of those standing accused to 62. They are accused of being customers of 29-year-old Alexis Wright, who was accused of having sex for money with men out of her Zumba dance studio in Kennebunk between late 2010 and early 2012. She faces more than 100 counts in a case that has put Kennebunk on the national radar. For the complete list of names, visit our website, WVII.com.
And 2 minor earthquakes were centered in Maine towns over the weekend, and both were picked up, here we go, by the seismograph at the University of Maine. On Friday night, just before 11:30 p.m., a 2.1 magnitude earthquake occurred roughly 8 miles west of Belfast. Then yesterday afternoon, Fort Kent experienced a 2.5 magnitude quake. Staff at the University of Maine say that even with the 4.6 magnitude quake that happened in southern Maine last month, there is no cause for concern.
These are pretty routine. They're not anything to be concerned about, but certainly interesting geologically.
Scientists do not agree over what causes these quakes. One hypothesis is that these small tremors are aftershocks of much larger earthquakes that happened many years ago.
Recent changes to Chapter 33's physical restraint and seclusion laws in Maine schools has raised questions about when it's okay for a teacher to use self-defense. Our Kristen Hosfeld spoke with MEA officials to find out what's being done to clarify the gray areas.
At the Maine Education Association, confusion seems to be the response to the latest revisions on restraint rules for Maine teachers.
If you're not trained in restraint, you can't put hands on. That's the interpretation of a lot of the administrators and the way that the law is written.
The current restraint laws in place prohibit a teacher from ever touching a student, whether it be to comfort them, to break up a fight between students, or to stop a student from attacking them, unless there's an imminent danger.
You are not supposed to unless you're feeling an imminent danger.
And what qualifies as that?
Exactly.
And that's where the confusion comes in. The current law describes imminent danger as a situation in which a student has the means to cause physical harm or injury to self or others, and such injury or harm is likely to occur at any moment, such that a reasonable and prudent person would take steps instantly to protect the students and others. However, recent incidents in Maine schools have raised questions about when the teachers have the right to make that call.
We have educators who are being hit, bitten, pushed against the wall, who require first aid, but presently we don't know of anyone who's required any sort of hospitalization.
And the gray areas have teachers upset.
No, they can't attack the students, obviously, but they are allowed to defend themselves or protect another child who's being attacked by another student. We can't just sit there and say, well, don't fight, and hope that the student who's beating up on the other kid is going to go, oh, well, okay, since you told me no, I'll stop now.
The MEA has requested to meet with the commissioner and reopen Chapter 33.
Maine Principals Association, Maine Superintendents Association, and the MEA together have requested time with the commissioner to talk about what our next steps will be, because we do need to make some changes to the law as it is now.
In Augusta, I'm Kristen Hosfeld.
The Maine Center for Economic Policy released a report this month showing an increase in the income gaps between the Maine's wealthiest and poorest families. The MECEP attributes growing economic inequality to a lack of progressive tax systems and says the state needs to create more jobs with better benefits. However, a new study by the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities shows that Maine's income gap is smaller than that of other states.
The gap between rich and poor has grown a little bit less in Maine than it has in the nation as a whole, but it's still not much to get excited about. We still have a growing income inequality problem here in the state.
The MECEP says the top wealthiest percentile has seen a 67% increase in incomes over the last 30 years compared to 27% for the poorest. And Secretary of State Charlie Summers has announced that all recounts lingering in the wake of the November 6th general election are now complete. In the Piscataquis County Commissioner's race, Republican Frederick Trask has emerged the victor over Democrat Donald Crossman by just 11 votes. A recount was also scheduled today in the House District 51 race, but Republican Alan Pinkham withdrew his recount request, conceding to Democrat Michael Devin. The Secretary of State's office conducted 13 recounts over the past few weeks, with all of the November 6 outcomes remaining unchanged.
The Twin City of Brewer officially has a new mayor. Kevin O'Connell was named to the position during a joint city council and school board meeting on November 20th. We sat down with the new mayor and asked him not only how he sees himself governing over the next year, but what he finds to be his greatest challenge.
One of my greatest challenges is to learning how to be a good mayor. You know, this really is one heck of a community. And I've enjoyed it, and I hope I can do it proud, and I'm going to do my best to make sure I make it proud for what I'm doing.
He's got a nice hat there. O'Connell goes on to say that there are a number of projects in the works, such as the Brewer Waterfront Trail and a new industrial park. Former Mayor Jerry Goss was named Deputy Mayor. A series of meetings begins tonight for the Searsport Planning Board and members of the public on a proposed $40 million liquid propane gas terminal. The public hearings will begin tonight at 6 p.m. and run through Thursday, November 29th. These meetings are not to decide whether to approve DCP Midstream's application to go through with the proposed plans, but to provide information on the tank capable of holding more than 20 million gallons and what citizens think about it. The Denver-based fuel company has received permits but is waiting for approval from the town of Searsport. We'll have more on this story tonight at 10 on Fox Bangor and right here at 11 on ABC 7. Well, it was a chilly day, but sunny. I'll take it.
I sure will. Tomorrow will likely be a carbon copy of today, but our midweek is looking a little cloudy. It's time now to check in with meteorologist Bernie Rayno for a first look at your forecast.
Yeah, relatively bright Tuesday, Lindsay and Jared, but it is going to be colder. Your first look at your AccuWeather forecast tonight brought to you by Quarry Recycling, 825-3595. They will buy your junk cars, trucks, and scrap metal, give you money for things that you're really not using. And who doesn't need the extra money, especially this time of the year? It was cold this morning, 15 degrees, 10 degrees below the normal low of 25 degrees. Luckily, nowhere near the record low of 1 below zero, 1939, but with sunshine, 38 degrees, right where we should be, or a little below that. Record 60 in 1953. That breeze that we've had most of today, long gone. Sun is down, temperatures are dropping, and it's another cold night, 14 degrees. Now, we'll have some sunshine tomorrow. Then some clouds start to arrive in the afternoon. I'm not looking at any rain or snow, but certainly I'm looking at plenty of cold as temperatures barely get above the freezing mark. And when I return with my exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast, unfortunately, if you don't like the cold, you will not like the weather this week. And we do have a snow threat here Wednesday. We'll also talk about the upcoming weekend, all that coming up in a little bit. Lindsay, Jared?
Bernie, thank you very much, but we do have to take a short break. But before we do, we've had an interesting several days here at ABC7.
Yes, we have, and we believe our job on this desk is to bring you the news each night, not make it.
And we couldn't be more excited to continue on with a fantastic team here, covering the stories that matter to you from all across our state.
And look forward to doing so for the foreseeable future, so stay with us. You'll be glad you did as we try to establish a rhythm here. We'll be right back. A week of the biggest spending days of the year continue today with Cyber Monday as consumers take advantage of convenient online shopping. Experts say it officially began 7 years ago when retailers noticed a bump in online shopping. The Monday after Thanksgiving, people were returning to work after the weekend and shopping from their desks for items they didn't pick up on Black Friday.
Not only have the sales increased from last year, I think they said about 18% from last year, something like that. They're predicting 72 million shoppers today and about $1.5 billion in sales.
With over 97% of online retailers participating, there's still time to check if your favorite stores are offering special deals.
And as it turns out, Cyber Monday isn't just for shopping, it's also for giving, with one statewide nonprofit hosting an online drive to assist hungry Mainers. The Good Shepherd Food Bank's virtual holiday food drive is underway, and with 200,000 Mainers food insecure, that's 15% of households, Good Shepherd says the time for generosity is right now.
It's important to keep in mind that $1 equates to 4 meals that we're able to provide to hungry families, and a $1 donation also equates to $8 worth of food that we can distribute through our partner network.
Good Shepherd hopes to raise $200,000 online by year's end. The food distributor serves 600 agencies statewide and supplied 13 million pounds of food last year. To give securely online, visit feedingmaine.org. A local group is helping out some four-legged friends this winter to make sure they don't go hungry either. Furry Friends Food Bank is a part of the Eastern Area Agency on Aging. They help seniors and adults with disabilities feed their pets. St. Joseph Hospital in Bangor has been in on the action for the past 3 weeks. Its employees have been donating pet food and other pet supplies.
We know how much people love their pets, and we don't want those folks going without to feed their pets. So we thought if we jumped in and fed the pets up front, we wouldn't have to worry about them going without.
We're meeting the immediate needs of the pet, but what we're doing is we're helping to meet more extended needs of the family. They wind up with enough food to feed their pets. They don't wind up sharing their own food, which is very, very important.
The donations will be given out just in time for the holidays. If you would like to donate to the Furry Friends Food Bank, you can go online to eaaa.org.
That's 3 A's.
Yes, 3 A's.
3 A's. Partly cloudy today, but that sun really warmed things up at times.
It did. We can expect the same for tomorrow, but Bernie, how long will it be before the clouds roll through?
Well, some clouds will roll through the area tomorrow afternoon, Jared and Lindsay, but I'm more concerned about Wednesday. Maybe a little snow? I'll have all the details coming up with your full 5-day forecast right after break.
Welcome back. Sunny but chilly today, and it's looking like it will hold through tomorrow.
But by midweek, the clouds will likely return, making it feel much colder. Here's how it looked outside earlier today in the town of Vesey. Meteorologist Bernie Rayno is now in with your full forecast.
What a bright way to start our work week, Lindsay and Jared. Lots of sunshine as we just saw, and we'll have some more sunshine tomorrow as well. Your exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast brought to you by our great friends at Brooks Tire and Auto Sales. Winter is fast approaching. We've already had snow. Where these are the guys that you want to contact. Route 7 in Dexter, 800-339-7149. Nobody sells tires for less. Make them prove it. Okay, we had a front come through here earlier today. That's why there were some clouds, but notice as we've gone through the afternoon hours, those clouds have pretty much dissipated. Behind that front, we also had that chilly wind from the north and west, but you'll notice that if you step outside right now, not much wind left with the sun down. So clear skies, northwest wind, light, dry air. That's a recipe for a cold night. Your exclusive AccuWeather forecast. We're down to 12 degrees Baileyville, 17 Calais, Eastport toward Machias, right around 20 degrees. So 18, 20 degrees along the mid-coast tonight. Again, just a few clouds. It'll be clear in Bangor, Waterville, up towards Skowhegan, 14 degrees in Skowhegan. Same story in Bangor, Dexter, Pittsfield in at 14, Lincoln 15, middle teens as you head toward our north and west. Clear, light wind, a tranquil night, but a cold one. We have a weak storm now pushing through the Plain States. Not much with that right now, although there is a little bit of snow on its northern flank, southern flank. We have moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico with some rain moving toward Tennessee. All of this moisture will be moving eastward, and by tomorrow that storm system will be off the mid-Atlantic coast. Now, by and large, most of the precipitation with this storm will stay to our east. I am a little worried that as the storm starts to intensify on Wednesday, that some of this moisture can get pulled back during the day Wednesday. Now, if that does happen, it's mostly along the mid-coast, but the main story is behind this storm system as we go through the rest of the week. Our wind flow will be coming right from the north and west. That's what's going to be bringing us the colder air. In addition, fast jet stream will bring a disturbance along Wednesday that, as I mentioned, I'm a little worried about some snow along the mid-coast. I can also see a period of snow or flurries everywhere across the area as we head into late Wednesday and Wednesday night. But tomorrow's all about the cold, 14 degrees when you get up. Despite sunshine, temperatures will struggle to get above the freezing mark. I think we'll just make it. You'll notice clouds showing up certainly in the afternoon hours. Don't be surprised if there's a few hours where it's rather cloudy later in the day. Again, temperatures only in the lower 30s. Out on the waters tomorrow, winds northwest at about 4 to 8 knots, waves 2 to 3 feet. Visibility is going to be unrestricted. Now, behind that storm system and that weak system that comes across the area Wednesday night, boy, high pressure will build in for Thursday and Friday. It is going to be cold. Some of this moisture by late in the week across the Canadian prairies may arrive here on Saturday. Your exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast. So Wednesday's a little tricky. It's going to be mostly cloudy, maybe some rain and snow along the mid-coast, but then I think that other system comes through Wednesday night. Period of snow or flurries, a little tough right now, but certainly that's the next time frame where we could get some accumulating snow. Behind that storm system, it is just cold Thursday and Friday, maybe a little bit of snow or flurries Saturday. Lindsay, Jared?
Bernie, thank you very much. A big win for Maine men's basketball yesterday.
Their first win of the season. Aaron Jackson has reaction from head coach Ted Woodward next in sports.
Now, ABC 7 Sports.
Maine men's basketball picked up their first win of the season last night over Siena. 72-66 the final at the Alpha, and Coach Ted Woodward obviously was happy to put a W on the board.
We felt like we had been fighting very well in a lot of the different games, come up short a couple times, and really been looking to find our rhythm as a basketball team. We got a lot of new faces on our team and a lot of guys in some different positions than they've been in the past. But Siena is an outstanding program. They got tremendous athletes, a leading rebounder in the country last year. I thought our guys did a tremendous job start to finish, really stayed consistent throughout the course of the game.
The guard play of Justin Edwards and Xavier Pollard was the difference maker. Pollard in particular, he led the transition game with 12 assists.
When he gets in transition, it allows Justin to get in transition as well. And Justin is one of the best transition players, I believe, in the country. So he's able to get to the rim. He's able to kind of get a couple of offensive rebounds in transition, get himself to the free throw line. And a lot of that came off our defense. I think that is where it continues to need to come from. I thought we did a great job playing not just with our feet, but with our hands, getting a lot of deflections.
With many teams already taking part in preseason tournaments, high school basketball season is fast approaching. At Bangor, the boys will now be coached by former UMaine assistant Ed Kotala. Kotala replaces a coaching legend in Roger Reed, and he says he already has talked to the two about them.
He was very encouraging. Obviously, he has a tremendous love for this place, and the contribution he's made. I mean, just look around here, the gold balls that seem to be on pretty much every shelf. He was very supportive, had some great words of wisdom, which I took to heart, and I look forward to the point, and it may not be immediately, but I look forward to the point when we get him back in the gym and get him back around the program.
It was a very special homecoming for former Mount Ararat star pitcher Mark Rogers today. The Brewers' big righty now has his high school number 8 retired to the rafters. Rogers was Milwaukee's first-round pick in 2004 and made it to the big leagues last season, going 3-1 with 41 strikeouts late in the year. That performance likely earned him a full-time spot in the starting rotation next season. For today, though, it was all about remembering his years with the Eagles.
I'm very thankful for Monterey High School and everything they've done for me, building me as a person, and as an athlete. And to have my number retired here is quite an honor. And I just appreciate everything they've done for me. And I tell you what, I'm just very, very proud to have my number retired here and have the opportunity to share it with my family and friends.
The Red Sox are said to be looking closely at 2 of the bigger names on the free agent market. We'll start with free agent catcher and first baseman Mike Napoli. The former Ranger spent much of his weekend in Boston, meeting with manager John Farrell and team ownership. They've also been in contact with former Yankees outfielder Nick Swisher. Sources say that the Red Sox view Swisher as the top option should they fail to sign Napoli. And finally, tonight, perhaps a small concern for Patriots fans. Defensive end Jermaine Cunningham has been suspended 4 games by the NFL for taking a performance-enhancing substance. Jared, Lindsay, back to you.
Aaron, thank you very much. Still to come this evening, we talked to a real-life elf, one of several committed to helping others and spreading joy this holiday season. There is one catch. This head elf's identity is top secret.
Top secret. But first, check out our 12 Days of Christmas extension of our half-off dining and half-off fun programs. It all continues tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with Shots True Value Hardware in Hamden. For more information, just log on to our website, WVII.com, and click on the 12 Days of Christmas. We'll be right back. The holiday season is now underway, and a group of Santa's helpers here in Bangor are giving to those in need, but in true elf fashion, they're doing it on secret. They call themselves Bangor Elves, taking part in random acts of kindness. They have jars in stores throughout downtown Bangor where people can leave donations. The elves then take that money and put it to good use for things like purchasing a meal for a family in need or helping out with home heating costs. But they do all of this anonymously.
You don't give because you want recognition. You give because it's from the heart, and it's because people need it. You don't need the recognition.
And we'd like to thank you for joining us tonight.
Have a great evening. Good night.